Hello everybody, and welcome to Let's Play Pillars of Eternity. Yes, it's finally here, and as I sit here listening to this opening soundtrack, it makes me wonder, why have I not played this game before now? This game came out a while ago, 2-3 years ago. It's like a new game to me. I haven't played this before. This is completely blind several years later, and I am looking forward to getting started. Now, before I press on here, just a couple of notes. This is going to be a very short session. Just going to introduce you to my character, create my character, go through the introductions, and then end it when we're in full control for the first time. Second of all, I don't have any of the DLCs installed, part 1, part 2 of the White March. Reason being is I don't know when it's best to install them. Is it best to install them now? Is it best to wait until a certain point in the game? Is it best to wait until you finish the main campaign? I don't know. If you'd care to let me know without spoilers, that'd be marvellous. And speaking of letting me know about things, over in my forums there is a Pillars of Eternity forum, and I have created over there a thread for tips, advice, strategies, anything you want to tell me about the game that doesn't involve spoilers that might help me to become better, to sort of make that slower start that you go through when you're trying to figure out a game a little bit shorter. Feel free to head over there and post your advice. Of course, I will read the comments pages of the videos too, but by keeping it all in one place, it makes it easy for me to go through and pick up on things. Anyway, without further ado, we've all waited long enough, myself included, so let's dive in to this old school RPG, Pillars of Eternity, and see what it throws up at us. Now, like all RPGs, I'm going to go on normal, reason being twofold really. I enjoy RPGs for the story, for the experience. Sometimes I find if it's too difficult, kind of detracts away and causes me much frustration. Second of all, when you're LPing a game, you're automatically not focusing as hard as you would do when you're playing on your own because you're trying to commentate and things of that nature. And third of all, because I don't make a lot of gameplay optimum strategies, and I will be making strategies that might be contrary to the best outcome for roleplay purposes, sometimes having it slightly easier than harder difficulty modes compensates for that. So we'll start normal. If it is too easy, we'll ramp it up to hard, but we'll see how it goes on normal difficulty for now. Right then, here we go. We're going in. We're going in. Oh, I'm so excited. So, as I said in this introduction, I just don't know how I've waited for so long. Can always rely on Obsidian to make a good game, can't you? They know what they're doing when it comes to a decent RPG, those boys. I've done a little bit of reading.
5 wagons grope blindly for the path on a starless night, their master glancing ever upward to the skies for assurance that he is on the right course. A dim lantern his only protection against the encroaching darkness. But the skies bring no comfort, shining no light, betraying no hint of what they know. The caravan carries travelers bound for the frontier hamlet of Gilded Vale, you among them, where a local lord has offered land and wealth to settlers from abroad looking for a fresh start. You have taken suddenly ill, sweating and shivering, and one of the other travelers signals for the caravan master to stop on your behalf. He pulls up just in time to avoid plowing into the trunk of a fallen tree that bars the way ahead. You will go no further tonight.
So a nice little introduction there as to where we find ourselves. But who are we? Why are we there? Well, I better tell you, haven't I? Yeah, I've done a bit of reading about the mechanics as such, so just not completely in the dark when we start. Right then, so in my video update, was it last week or the week before, I did highlight what my character, or who my character was going to be, in a roundabout sort of way. So I'll expand upon that now. I have already created my character yesterday, but I couldn't save him, so I'm just going to go through the process again, and it will also help me to explain a few things. But the general premise for my character, the general vision I have of him, is that of Gilderoy Lockhart from Harry Potter. Just a complete and utter buffoon, really. Somebody who talks the talk, but when it comes to actually walking the walk, is not quite living up to his own hype. He's done a lot of studying, read a lot of books about the world, about other people, about his own craft, his own, his own art. But reading is one thing, and putting that into practice is quite something else. So he's just going to generally be aloof, he's just generally going to be clumsy, he's going to put his foot in it, and when it comes to the heat of the battle, he's probably going to cack his little panties. But we'll see how that plays out in the context of the game. So he is male. Now, in tune with many previous renditions of RPGs, I'm going to stick to what I normally stick to, and that is human. I know, very boring, you've got a lot of different races here. I mean, look at this. Why wouldn't you want to be a character that looks like that? I've seen some of them with flames on the head. I mean, why wouldn't you want to be a character with a flame on the head? But no, I won't be. I mean, little tree people. Why didn't you want to be one of these little things? I mean, would never play an elf. I don't like elves in any RPG context. Dwarves we've played before with Godan and with Horston. So I've done dwarves before. I mean, fish people. Yeah. No, human. We're going to stick with human. We're going to stick with the old RPG boring character, but they're in there all the time. Gives us +1 to resolve and +1 to might. So we're going to pick a human. Seems to fit the bill for my purposes. Now we're going to go. We had a choice between two, really. We had meadow folk and we had ocean folk. Now, my character hails from Valian Republic. And therefore, the vast majority of those folk are ocean folk. So, I'll stick with that. And true to form also, for two purposes. Obviously, Gilderoy Lockhart, link there. All my RPG characters, when I play an RPG for the first time, are mages or wizards. Second link there. We're going to stick to the same theme, and we're going to have a wizard. Right, in terms of spells, the spells I have picked now, as I said, this is blind. I don't play for gameplay optimum. I'm just picking these out of a roleplay standpoint, having looked at them, thinking what kind of spells we would have in our grimoire to start with. And the first one which jumped out at me, which fit my character really, really well, was Fleet Feet. Because he's the first one to run at the sign of trouble. So yeah, getting out of trouble when it comes knocking, moving to the back of the pack and putting himself out of harm's way definitely seems like something he needs to have in his armoury. So Fleet Feet definitely was one that fit the bill straight away. The second one that I picked was Minoletter's Minor Missiles, and the reason being is because the range of this, out of all the spells we have, this is the one with the longest range. Again, same kind of theme, doesn't want to be too close to the enemy, would rather toss spells from as far away as possible, and therefore this spell offered that option. Plus, it's a link to magic missiles in Dungeons and Dragons and Baldur's Gate, and I used to love magic missiles as a staple, so it's kind of linky there as well. Slicken is a spell that puts enemies on their backsides, it knocks them over, almost like a crowd control ability, so that seemed like a reasonable one to go for as well. And its range is pretty decent for the aforementioned reasons. And one which kind of piqued my interest. This is a little bit more of a gameplay type mechanic pick than an RP pick. But if my knowledge of mages from other renditions of roleplay games is true to this, then they're a royal pain. And the quicker you get rid of them or interrupt their spellcasting, the better, because if you don't, they just cause devastation. So this seems to be a bit of a counter spell to other wizards, It's an interrupt, it's a quickly cast spell, and it says it here. It's got a high chance to disrupt enemy spellcasters. This seems like something that could be useful. So I picked that as well. So that's the 4 spells in our character's armoury. We'll see how they play out. Might not be the best choices, but they have been picked mainly for roleplay. Moving on from that, we have our character build, and again, what I like about this game is there's no, like in RPGs gone by, you've always got a dump stat or 2. A mage with strength, there's no point to it, you know, so you can dump that stat. A mage with constitution, maybe not so much, you know, you can dump it and you can really stack them up into other areas. Whereas this game here, they're all useful in some context. So I've picked again, based on roleplay reasons, which will allow for an interesting playthrough, I feel. So might, that affects the power of our spells as a wizard, and it's down as a key stat. Now we have done a lot of reading. Our character knows his stuff. He's not completely inept, you know, so I was not going to give him really low. It's also used for intimidating displays. Intimidating displays? Our character's not going to demonstrate intimidating displays. But as I said, it's not going to be too low. So just for his proficiency with spellcasting, he's no expert, but he's no dunce. He does know his stuff. He just has to, you know, summon the courage to use them properly. We're going to go with 14. Constitution, overall health, the ability to withstand pain, endure taxing ordeals. My character doesn't endure taxing ordeals, doesn't wish to endure taxing ordeals, doesn't want to be put in a situation where he's going to have to endure taxing ordeals. So we're going to bump that down to 9. The reason being is I wanted to give myself a negative buff with this for the purposes of my character's lack of constitution. 10 would give us neutral, but I wanted to take at least 1 level of penalties to just demonstrate how our character just completely and utterly does not even wish to endure any form of suffering. Doesn't want to break a nail, God help him. Dexterity. Now this is a stat where our character will really excel. Sleight of hand, fast reactions, escaping when the going gets tough. Oh certainly. Oh certainly. We're going to go 16 with that one. He's certainly worked on his footwork, that is for certain. And then we get to the last 3. Perception and ability to pick up on things and details is not too bad. It takes one to know one, I think, when it comes to lying. And you've got to be quite perceptive about what lies you've told to what people. You've got to be clever. You know, you can't tell it. You know, you can't mix your stories up. So I think he would have a level of perception, but also because of his own, you know, his own self-centeredness, sometimes he can be blind to things around him. So I think we're going to go 12 with that one. Intellect, he's done his reading. To give the man his dues, he has done his reading. He knows his stuff. It's just putting that into practice, that's the problem. And then finally resolve, leadership. Yeah. Intimidation, determination, fearlessness. Yeah. Not really happening, is it? So 11, I think, is just about right there. So that's the character stats for our character. He's from Old Valia. He's an aristocrat. He has grown up as a single child, and as a result of that, not quite so up to speed with social interactions with others. And that's why he's created this persona, this image of himself as being this great adventurer that knows everything about anything and has been to all these glorious places in the past, when he really hasn't. But that's the way that he's trying to bridge that gap, to account for that lack of confidence. He's building it up by portraying himself in a almost like an actor, really. But he has grown up with a rich father, owner of a financial institution, was destined to pick up where his father left off, passing down to him, but he didn't want that. A boring life. He wanted to set out for adventure, and hence where he finds himself now. But yes, he has grown up in lavish lifestyle. Right, appearance. What have we got here? Skin colours, hair colours, clothes colours. Just pick these. There you go. Purple and black. Always a good mix. In terms of their facial hair, goatee to match the character portrait that we have picked out already. There you go. Kind of matches. Sorry about that. Right then, so yes, there's the appearance. Quite close to the portrait, really. Not too bad. So there he is, our character, beginning to take shape. Right, voice.
Ready when you are. I'll lead the way. Death to our enemies.
Yeah. I think, out of all of them, I think that's the one that closely matches. Cocky. Yeah, could fit the bill. The more confident he gets, the more cocky he gets. Certainly. And finally, the name. Who is this noble fella? What will the name be on everyone's lips? That great hero who saved us from utter destruction. Fedoran. I don't know why. Sometimes these names just come to me and it just, oh, you know what, Fedoran? Of course. Of course it is. Makes total sense. Fedoran. People will soon be speaking that word whilst spluttering into cups of tea, no doubt. Due to the utter foolishness of the man. The caravan master finishes addressing the group, his bushy red moustache and sagging jowls quivering as if for emphasis.
Everybody stays close to the wagons, got it? Stay out of the woods, and beasts take you if you were planning a stroll through those ruins up there.
Nodding towards the looming black mass on the hillside.
Whole area's crawling with hut-dwelling types who would be happy to stick an axe in you for trespassing. So mind that you don't track mud on their sacred blazing rocks. Tonight, everybody stays put, and in the morning we'll get the path cleared. Gilded Vale's less than a day out. Understood?
At last, the caravan master turns to us, frowning as he looks us over.
Touch of the rumbling rot, could be. There's a stinging beetle round here, carries it. You'll be fine once it passes your innards, unless you don't drink water, course, which case you'll be dead in a day. There's a berry grows in these parts, small and pink, called a springberry, about the size of a fingernail. Give you cramps if you eat it, but the frontiersmen make a tea from it. Calms the insides. Should get you through the night. You might check around, see if you can find some. Meanwhile, I'll see if we can scare you up some water.
I mean, he's telling Fedoran things he already knows. I mean, for goodness sake, Fedoran brewed some springberry tea for his own mother who was on death's door with this damn ailment.
I know you want to hunt before it gets much darker, but see about refilling our water first. Got a sick one here.
Okay, so he's looking over his shoulder to his assistant, a lanky, intense man named Sparfell, who carries an old, sun-bleached bow. Now, these questions here would make Fedoran seem like he doesn't know what he's talking about. He doesn't want to appear like he doesn't know what he's talking about to these random strangers who he's known but for a couple of days, and therefore he will just announce that he's going to go get the berries.
Hold on. Take someone with you. I know you're not some helpless tenderfoot, not like most of this lot. But you drop dead, I don't want to be looking for the body. Got a schedule to keep.
Oh. A man that knows talent when he sees it, thinks Fedoran. So Caravan Master Edema scans over the travellers, resting his eyes at length on a sturdy arm-clad woman who has spent the journey's nights sleeping on uneven ground without blanket or pillow. Fedoran just thought she was showing off.
Kalisha. Kalisha!
She looks up in her own time.
He needs to find some springberries. Watch that he doesn't drop dead.
No promises.
What kind of guide says something like that?
Kind you can afford.
Don't listen to her. You're in good hands. And I pay too well, if anything. Off with you. Hayden should have supplies. See that you're equipped before you head out. We're in harsh country. Get your berries and hurry back. And if you get so much as a tickle of wind, you drop everything and you run. Something in the air tonight. If it's a Beawick, we'll shelter in the ruins. Hut dwellers be damned.
Oh, yes, I think we may run in the sight of danger, but if it doesn't look too bad, we'll take it on.
You heard the man. Let's get going before you keel over.
Okay, so here we are. We are able to pause the game, and as stated in the introduction, this is where we're going to end the first session. So here we are. We have Fedoran, and we already have, is it Kalisha? Somebody to assist us in finding spring berries to make springberry tea to cure us of this ailment. Yes. Fedoran's mother didn't have this gut rot thing, whatever it's called. But, you know, the stories have already started. So join me in the next session when we shall hopefully find some springberries, sip it down, be cured of our ailment and be on our merry way. Because we certainly haven't left Old Valia to be sat around a campfire, broken down and stopped by tree trunks, that's for sure. So to find out what happens next, join us next time. Till then, see you soon.